Tom Gavaghan.
City Council members, welcome you, new and outgoing. Thank you for your service. I appreciate that. On the storm drain, I'm the last person in line on the storm drain. And when they came through, the contractor was kind of rude, crude, indecent. I'm new to the city of Wildomar, and I really like the city of Wildomar, just so you know. But I haven't even been here a year yet. But what happened on my property and how it was handled by the city and the county of Riverside is just appalling. I deal with this stuff every day. I do construction, and I'm aware of what happens and change orders and everything else. But how my property was left because of what they had to do to make adjustments, yeah, I'll leave this up for you guys. You can take a look at the pictures. Everybody knows the daycare center that's out back behind my property. Little old ladies, 70 years old, are out there trying to pack logs and stones and rebar just to keep the mud from flowing down onto their property. Coyotes got in and got one of my dogs now because they put up a cheap fence. If you look at the pictures 1A, 2, 3, 4, that's the type of runoff that's going on, and they think that's acceptable to me, and really not. When they were doing this, I told them that the runoff would be there, so I'm sure you haven't gone out to the site, but you should probably go out to your site to see what they're doing before you say great work to them. Pictures 5 through 10, it's the flooding that's going on the property right now, and I can't even let my dogs out back there to play. So, and then pictures 11 through 13. At the time, they didn't have the right slope for the pipe and the runoff, and I know I'm running out of time. But so I agreed to have them butt up to my fence. So I had to remove a solid wood fence with flashing to keep the dogs and the coyotes and everything out of there. And then I had to take out my shed, which had my timer box for my sprinklers and all of that, and the electrical and everything running there. And what they gave me was that cheap piece of chain link fence to make up the difference. This is the contractor Alabassi. At the same time when they were doing this, I had made several comments, and I've spoken to Matt, and he's been quite receptive listening to me. But they got through the project quickly because they weren't out back watering, and my pool got flooded with mud. My filters went out, and I filed a claim against Alabassi, and I was told, nah, they put the fence up, that's enough. It's not enough, sorry. My neighbor Wally, who couldn't be here, he's setting up a funeral right now. He submitted.
I'm sorry, but your time, we'll look at the pictures, thank you.
Appreciate it, thank you very much.
Can I ask what the process is for him to possibly go out and file a claim? Has that all been done? Did we transmit that to him?
Yeah, the area that's mainly in question is really adjacent to his property. It's on his property, but there's an easement, a drainage easement, but that's a separate item. It doesn't really affect this item tonight on a notice of completion. Staff will continue to work with him. There are some of the agreements are between him and the contractor. They're working through that on a private matter. It's also an easement that's controlled by Riverside County Flood Control. They're aware of it. They also will continue to work with him on that matter. But relative to our project, what we contracted for, the works that were done, everything is consistent, and so staff does understand his concerns, but it doesn't affect the actions before you tonight.
But the process that he needs to follow would be, is it to file a claim against the city?
Yeah, he has two options. One, he can take it as a private matter with Alabassi. He could also file a claim with the city if he felt that the city was somehow. Okay. And that has been explained to him.
My question, so this contractor that was hired by the city, this is the same contractor that is responsible for those pictures?
Yep.
Okay, so
That's what they left there.
my real concern is, I mean, when we hire somebody, they represent the city, and the customer service they display reflects us. So I mean, I'm getting one side of the story. I haven't talked to the contractor, but the concern would be if they're not representing us well when they're doing work on our behalf, that's an issue, so.
Okay,
So, but Dan, by approving 3.2 tonight, both items, that does not at all affect Mr. Gavaghan from moving forward with claims? And so if he did do a claim against the city, would that be coming out of the last 10% that we're holding back, or?
Yeah, at this point, that would be a whole nother item that we would have to discuss whether the city had any involvement or should have any involvement. But for this contract, the work that we're bringing before you tonight is solid, doesn't preclude Mr. Gavaghan to file a claim and for us to continue to work through that process with him.
Okay.
Would it help if we, so this, I'm just thinking out loud, and it may sound like I'm all over the place, but by approving this tonight, are we saying, hey, good job, and X, Y, Z, or should we, I mean, would it help for the city, if what he said is true, and they were in fact not representing us well, let's just say, would it help leverage them to, address their concerns and be done with it without going any further to the county, or having to go to court or anything else?
Well, just to be clear, we entered into a construction contract. He had certain parameters to provide. He has done that.
Okay.
Representing us or not representing us, he's his own contractor.
Yeah.
The only relationship he had with us was to fulfill a contract, and he has satisfied that. This action tonight is needed, one, to pay his final change order for work that he's done. We're obligated to do that per contract. Secondarily, as I told you, to shut the window down under the government code, we need to file the notice of completion. So that's really the only actions tonight. What happens with Mr. Gavaghan and the timing and all that is really separate from this issue, and it has a separate course that staff has been working with him on.
okay, anything else on that one?
Move approval. Good luck.
Second.
Oh, you say second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries all ayes.